Okay, let's try this again. So this video is gonna be a little bit different. I'm not gonna do a reading, and it's not exactly going to be a review because so when I started my channel, I thought whenever I got a new deck, I would make a review of it. And I made a review of the Prisma Visions before. But when I bought that, I also bought this. The Rider Waite. It's like the most basic deck that I didn't have before. So I bought it. And I thought about making a review video of it, but it just seems kind of odd to make a video of this because it's so basic. It's like everybody has it, or at least knows it. I've seen it so much everywhere on videos, on images and everything. I already know all the cards. So many other decks reference it in their own images, and it just would be weird for me to make a review video of the most basic deck in the world, basically. So surprisingly, I didn't have it before. I had like all these other decks, but not this one. So I'm gonna be talking about my decks, what I like in them, what I got, where I got them, not where, when, well, you know, whatever. So it's gonna be kind of random. Kind of like a vlog. So if you like it, you know, let me know and maybe I'll make more. I also have a ton of Oracle decks that I could also kind of introduce to you. For now, I'm gonna stick to the tarot. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this and then get to the other decks. And let's see what I come up with. I don't have a script for this. I don't have any idea what I'm going to do. So I'm inviting you to hang out with me for a while I hang out with my decks. Okay, so first of all, let's start with this one. It's my newest, so I haven't used it I haven't used it that much yet, but it definitely wants to be used. Like, even at night when I'm trying to sleep, it's like it's calling to me, like, come play with me, and it sounds really creepy. I was thinking about that last night. It sounds really creepy, but not in a creepy way. It's like it just really wants me to do readings. It's weird. And I thought when I bought this, I thought I would buy it just to have it because everybody has it, and I thought it would be so boring, and I would just like open it and shuffle it a little and put it away, and it would be like forgotten forever. But yeah, it's not. So, okay, first of all, I know that for a lot of people, this or some other variation of this, I know there's with the same pictures, but like different, some are more vibrant colors, or some are golden or gilded or whatever. For a lot of people, this is like their first deck, and I think there's like at least two like schools of tarot, that some start with this and others start with this. And I'm gonna get to that next. That's what I started with. But yeah, there's like this two roads to take in tarot, and I thought, you know, at least I would own both if I don't use them both. But yeah, when I bought it, I didn't actually look at the box too much. I just saw it was this deck and that's it. And I'm used to like other decks, especially like Scarabeo decks, have all those different languages in the card, so I didn't even pay attention to what it said on the box. So when I opened it, I was so excited to notice that it's actually in Italian. It's an Italian version. I don't know why they had Italian version in the store, because I live in Portugal. But yeah, that made me like love it instantly. I don't know why, but somehow it just made it so much more interesting to me. And like I thought it would be just I thought it would be so boring and just blah, but it's so talkative. Like it does not stop spilling cards when I'm trying to do a reading, or when I'm just trying to shuffle. It's like everywhere. So it wants to be used. I have a couple of other decks that really want to be used, and a couple of decks that are kind of like only for special occasions. Yeah. I had a note where I wrote what I wanted to say. I think I lost it, so I don't know what to say. But yeah, if I remember, I'll get back to it. So to start off with all the other decks, this was my first. This with the bow. It's always had the same bow. This is my baby. I think I was like 15 or something. I've never actually used this for a reading because it's not complete. It is missing like 20 cards, I think. 10, 15, 20 cards. I'm not sure. But one day my brother just kind of walked into my room like, hey, here, do you want this? And I'm like, what is that? Oh, it's a deck of cards. And that was the conversation, and that I was left with this. And I mean, I didn't use it. I didn't exactly even research it. I just like took it and looked at it and then put it away. Okay, there it is. The card that made me completely fall in love with tarot is the Universe, I believe it's called. In this deck, this is in Finnish. I've had this like on my computer background, on my phone background. I just love this image. It's the most beautiful tarot card, period. So yeah, this is my baby, and I guard it like from all. No one can touch it. Like, I know a lot of people for their decks, like no one can touch their decks. I don't really care. If you're interested in tarot and you want to go look at some of my decks, like go for it, but not this one. This one, no. That's my baby. So, because that is not complete, I bought the complete one. I don't remember when. I don't remember where. I don't remember how. I don't remember who. I have no recollection whatsoever. But this was like the one that I used very rarely. I just like to have it so that if I wanted to use it, and I would always be looking at the booklet, and it was really like I would do this complicated spread and always look at every meaning of every card, and surprisingly accurate, but very complicated because I didn't know anything. And not to mention, this is huge. Like, this deck, it's a big difference. And comparing to this, it's massive. It's just gigantic. It's difficult to shuffle, so I don't use it that much. And this is the deck that really has that kind of energy of like, don't mess around, don't play with it. Like, it's not like some of these I can just take out and just shuffle without purpose, without aim. But this, I really, it's like, it's a very serious deck. But I love it. It's really to the point, really direct and blunt even, kind of a kind of an idiot sometimes, you know, like spiky. But yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say. You're gonna get a lot of that because I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, there's like someone asked at some point, whenever I saw someone ask on Instagram, like, if you could only have one deck, what deck would you have? And this is definitely my one deck. It's still difficult for me to read because I don't use it that much. And if you know the deck, some of the cards have different meanings. And I think there's even like an extra card or something. I don't even remember. So I'm not actually that familiar with it in usage, and especially like intuitively using it. But if I could only have one deck, it would be this one. Even though it's gigantic. I like bigger decks. I don't know what it is. This is like the smallest one I have. And it's already like, it's a little too small. So I had this for years. And only like earlier this year, like in the summer, I started looking at just tarot stuff, like tarot videos on YouTube. Came across one, loved it, watched a whole lot more, and decided like, hey, I have a deck, I want to do that too. Why don't I know how to do that yet? But I wanted another deck, obviously. So I was watching the videos and I saw this being used and just fell in love with it, and I had to get it. How surprising, right? So this is the deck that I really learned how to read tarot. And a lot of people say that this is not good for beginners because it's not this. It doesn't have the same images. It doesn't have the same meanings even. Some of them are a little different because it's the good tarot. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna go for. That's so amazing. Death in here is transformation. The devil is temptation. Stuff like that. So it's a little more kind. But this one is like, I can play with it all day. And that's like, and if you watch my videos, I've used it for all the monthlies for the 2 months. And next month, I'm going to use something different. I'm not sure which one yet, but I'm kind of sad because I like that they are so big. They're so big, not as big as that. I can shuffle it properly. But, I mean, the quality of the cards and the pictures are just stunning. I'm looking for the one that made me want to buy this deck. I showed it in another video. This one. I saw this card in a reading and I'm like, I will buy that deck. I don't know how well it shows there because I can't see the other side of my camera. But the Emperor in this one, if you can't see it properly, if it doesn't focus on it, Google it because it's gorgeous. powerful. It's so beautiful. I just love the colors. It's so beautiful. I love this. I love it. But of course, it's kind of lacking because it does focus on the good. So, like, sometimes you don't want to focus only on the good, right? You want to do a reading that actually has all the emotions in the world, even if it's something negative. So, soon after I got that, I got this one as well. And this is the other deck. Like, I used both of these to learn to read the cards. This is a little more, this is the Wheel of the Year tarot. This is a little closer to the Rider Waite, but it's not exactly the same. Like, you get the idea of them, but the images are completely different. But I actually find them so intuitive. Like, this really helped me get the meanings. If I didn't get them from the good tarot, I could always like think back to like, oh, what was the image and the Wheel of the Year. Because they're so, I mean, Eight of Pentacles, it's working hard, right? Five of Wands, it's struggle. And I mean, I know some people don't like this because it's kind of comic, like comic booky. That's you. That's not a word. But I like it. It's so clear. And this is really good. Like, if you don't want to start with the most basic deck in the world, this is a really good one. And this one really, it's like, I mean, I said that that's my baby, and that's my baby, but this is also my baby. This is, this is one of those that wants to be used constantly, and if I don't use it for a long time, like I have not used this for a long time, it's like it gets so upset with me that when I pull it out and start shuffling, it's like it doesn't even work. It's like there's no connection whatsoever. It's jealous. Which one was next? I think it was this one. This one and the Wheel of the Year. This is the Ghost Tarot that I used also in the December monthly. So if you've been watching those, you've seen a lot of it. These two go so well together. I've had some ridiculously like synchronistic readings using these two decks. So this is like the shadow side, and this is like the light side. And I use this mainly like when I read for myself. If I do shadow work, I usually use this one. Also, like, because I have so many, I can choose, because the way I read, I like to have a main deck and a clarifier deck. The clarifier deck is kind of smaller. So these are like the ones that I use for clarifying, and this one, this is the vice versa. It comes in a big box. It doesn't have a small box. It's in a pouch. And these would be like the basic reading cards. But if I do shadow work readings, for example, I usually just use this. I can also use this, the Wild Unknown. It's also kind of proper for that. Appropriate, proper. Sometimes I don't think, I just talk. This is definitely one of my most talkative decks. Like, it's super slippery. So, why is there cards upside down? I don't understand. It's super slippery. So it's really easy to shuffle if you shuffle like I do. I tried today and it just, I don't know how. My thumbs don't work with that. It's impossible. But if you shuffle like me, like this is amazing. It's slippery. They have not clumped once. I had some clumping issues with that. I don't know how to talk. Issues with that and this. And a little bit with this as well. But not this. This is amazing. And shuffling is like my favorite thing in the whole tarot thing. So it's important to me if it shuffles well. So yeah, that's that. Then I got like a bunch of other decks. I know I got some Oracle decks in the middle here, but these three I got at the same time. I don't remember if this was before or after that. I think it was actually after. But fine, whatever, I'll just do it now. This is the Tarot of Pagan Cats. Which is really fun, and also like, this is the most talkative deck that I have. It gets complicated reading with this because it keeps spilling. It's like, I'm like, I want 2 cards, and it's like 10. And if I shuffle a little more, it's like 20. This one would also be, I think, a little complicated for beginners, but not impossible. Some of the cards are very much like the Rider Waite, but I mean, some are completely different. Like, sometimes I'm looking at the picture and I'm like, I don't even know what's happening. I mean, it has cute cats. Strength. It's a cat with a dog. It's adorable. I also get like really sidetracked if I do readings with it because I just look at the cats. I have 2 cats, so I'm always comparing like every cat. I'm like looking for a cat that looks like my cat. But yeah, this was someone recommended this to me, and I had it on my wish list like 2 days, and then I had it in my hand. So, and also, I was shuffling these today, and I just remembered this one. The back is really important to me in all decks because I mean you see it a lot when you shuffle, right? I like it, but I don't like it. Like, I don't like the cat. It's not the kind of cat that I like. But, and the color is kind of weird. But I have the Wicca Oracle deck that also has this kind of same purple thing. And it has the moon as well. So it's like perfect pairing with this. And I'll probably be using this for some monthlies. Maybe next month. We'll see. I really like using it. It's really like, it has this really easy energy. And it's just, it's like, it likes to be used. It's not needy, but it likes to be used. So let's get to these ones. These guys. So here, is the vice versa, which is definitely different. So I was just talking about the back of the cards, that it's important to me because, you know, you see it a lot. These don't have it. They have front and back. Usually from the same situation, like on this side, it has this side of the, I was gonna say king, but who knows? It's the four swords. And this side has this side of the king. Okay, fine, it's a king. Sometimes it's a completely different scene. Yeah, I love this one. Victory, success, and everything. Everything is fun, everything is gold, and it's celebration. On this side, you can see that everybody's bloody, and it's like it was a tough battle, which you can't really see on this side. So this one is really interesting, and it gives really interesting readings, and it's super thick. I love it. But I don't use it that much. I don't know, somehow it's just, I don't really connect with it. I actually had it for a couple of months before I took it out of the box because I wasn't feeling well. And I was like, these two, I had some issues with them because they drained my energy, or drained my energy, so I was kind of worried that the vice versa would do the same thing, so I just kept it in the box forever. Too afraid to get to a new one. So let's do this first. Wild Unknown. Another one that like everybody has. It was so weird for me to get this deck because I had seen it so much, and then when I actually had it, it was like, how do I have it? How is this in my hands? How am I looking at every single card? Because I was so used to people using it for their YouTube and just like showing one or two or, 10 cards in a reading, and the rest, I couldn't see. So it was really, it was a somehow surreal moment for me. A lot of people like this deck. I like it, but I don't use it that much. I get along fine with it now. It doesn't do anything to my energy. I can use it, and I like it, and it's very intuitive. And I learned a lot of new meanings for the cards with this one. One of the things that I love in having multiple decks, I know a lot of people like to only have one so that they can really focus on learning those cards. But to me, having more cards means having more images of the same card, meaning having multiple meanings to the same card. So whenever I get a new deck, it's like I learn a new meaning for each and every card, which is really cool. So yeah. This one probably has the best feeling cards. I love it. It's like paper, but it doesn't feel like paper. It's so... It just feels good. There was something else I wanted to say about this, but I can't remember what it was. My mind is somewhere else. And then weird sounds. This is probably my favorite. I mean, I love that deck, but this is probably my favorite. I don't use it a lot because it still drains my energy quite a bit. It shuffles so well. It's impossible to take photos off. I used this for, if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen these cards so many times, but it's a struggle to get a good picture because it's so shiny. It's very plasticky. But yeah, if you don't know this is of course the Santa Muerte deck. I love it. It's like I'm like a cheerleader for this deck on Instagram. I'm always suggesting it to everyone and telling them to check it out and posting pictures of it, and I just love it. This is also like definitely would not recommend this to a beginner. Like, okay. A lot of people suggest that everybody starts with this deck because it's so basic, and all the literature about tarot always references this. They always have those pictures. They're simple and clear, but I don't think you need to start with that deck. Like, you could start with any deck. Like, I started to learn with the Good Tarot. Some people say that it sucks for a beginner, but I actually learned it much faster with that than I probably would have with other decks. Because it's so intuitive, and I really liked it, and I really wanted to learn it. So just because someone says like, yeah, buy this because, you know, you find material to study from and everything, you might not actually connect with the deck at all. And that does not help your, it doesn't help you learn tarot at all. If a deck calls to you, even if it's this deck, if this deck calls to you at a store and you just keep looking at it and it's going to be your first deck, buy it and study from that. The book for this is not the best one, though. I don't actually have it right now. My friend borrowed it. It's not the best. It doesn't actually have the traditional meanings really clearly. The best book I have for tarot is For the Wild Unknown. It's amazing. And the Good Tarot is also. The book is really good. But yeah, if you're wondering what deck to buy as your first deck, buy the one that you want to buy. The one that always catches your eye when you walk into the store or on Amazon, whatever you use. Even if people say that it is horrible for beginners, but like, I would not recommend this for a beginner. I would recommend having it as like the second deck, or as like if you have one of the other decks and then this one to help further your knowledge of the different cards. But it doesn't, it like the 10 cards, for example, they're just this. This is the 10 cups. It does not tell you anything. It has a little house with a heart on it. But that's it. Like, you have to know at least the basics of what the cards mean. I don't have any. I mean, this has some cards that are very, very abstract. Like, it just has like 7 pentacles or something. I think that's the only deck that has. Well, yeah, okay. The Thought also has some of them, but it has always like a background or something. But I know there's a lot of decks that have just 9 cups and you have to know, and that's not exactly the easiest way to learn. But like any of these, well, not this. The Ghost Tarot has kind of complicated interpretations, so I would not start with that either. But the Wheel of the Year is perfect for beginners. The Pagan Cat is adorable. The Good Tarot, I definitely recommend it. And this one, I don't say the name because I don't know how to say it. Oh yeah, and then this one. Also would not recommend to a beginner, and I've talked about this extensively in the review, but it's upside down. It's the Prisma Visions, and I mean, I don't really know what to do with it yet. Maybe clarifying, but it's so beautiful. It has very interesting art. It doesn't really seem fitting for just a clarifying deck, you know. But yeah, if you wanna know more about this one, I have a whole video of only this one. And then something I found in my closet. I think, oh yeah, and I have the tarot dice here. Maybe I should talk about that first. So I saw someone use this on a video, surprisingly. Like every other deck I own, I saw someone use it. But I saw this being used and I bought it. So this has like 13 dice, and they have the different. This is what I mean. This would not be good for beginners because it's just, what is this, 7 cups. You don't know what that means. Some say that this is really, really good for beginners because it forces you to get the meanings, to memorize the meanings. And okay, I agree with that. But I had this for a long, long time. So long that I forgot that I had it, actually. And then I found it again. And it was like hidden behind all my other decks. And I haven't used it yet. I really want to, but I don't know. I don't know why. I didn't use it at first because I thought it was so intimidating because I didn't know the meanings. So I didn't think I should. And then I forgot I had it when I already knew the meanings, and now I don't know what to do with it. Maybe I'll just have it on my deck. I used it as a prop for the November readings. That's what I did with it. Anyway, I have this deck. It's just a simple card deck, right? Playing cards. Now, if someone who sees this, if you have made it this far, if you read playing cards, I know it's a thing that people do. Leave me comments on like good resources to learn that, because I have this little deck that, I mean, I know how to play like solitaire and stuff, but I rarely do. So I just thought, you know, what the hell, why not? I could just use it as a deck. Like tarot. So yeah, I include it as a part of my collection, but I don't use it. So if someone does know something about that, leave me comments. I want to know. I want to learn. This is a deck from a cruise ship I was on from Finland to Estonia. I don't know how it ended up in my bag. Somehow I did. So yeah, I think I covered everything. So yeah, it's, oh yeah, one thing I thought about, I wanted to talk about. So I had this deck first, But I use these two to learn how to read tarot, right? And then I got more decks, and especially this one taught me a lot. It was like next level. And this one, I thought it wouldn't teach me anything because I already know all the cards, you know. I know how to, I know the meaning of all the cards, and I know the images of all the cards here. I've seen it used so much. But I feel like, first of all, I feel like I'm a real tarot card reader because I have the deck. But I also feel like this is going to teach me a lot more. Like, I have this, I don't read reversals right now. I started reading them a little bit when I started learning the cards, but I just figured out, like, there's so many cards, like, if there's a meaning to be got from, you know, for the reading, I will get it from the cards upright. So I'm not gonna mess with that because it just complicated everything. But with this one, and not just with this deck, but since I got this deck, I'm using other decks also. And if some card comes out, you know, upside down, reversed, what is down here? I actually feel like I should start interpreting them like that. So I know that this is going to teach me a lot. Not just like the basics, because I know the basics, but I find it interesting that I thought it wouldn't teach me anything, and I feel like it's actually going to teach me a lot. And now I don't know what to say. I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover. So yeah, this is my tarot collection. What? Tarot collection. I need to learn English one of these days. And yeah, like, I also thought, like, if you've been watching my monthly readings, for example, and if you think you would want to see one of these decks used, let me know. I would love that. If you want to know more about one of the decks, also leave me comments. I could also do review videos for any of them, if that's something you want to see. So thanks for hanging out with my decks for a while. I know it's been very weird because I'm really awkward, but I love playing with my decks. I took them all out on the table today, and I just shuffled each and every one of them, and I was just like enjoying this whole vibe of multiple decks on the table. So yeah. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. I hope you got something out of this. Any comments would be so appreciated if you want to see something like this again. If you want to see more of any of my decks, if you have any comments on them, if you have any good resources for learning to read playing cards as, you know, in a similar way, anything, let me know. Leave me comments. I would love them. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again next time. Bye.